Hello, good night,
Hi.
everybody.
Good evening. How's
What's
everyone
going
doing?
Oh, Bethany, what are you wearing? Show me this. Are your
Oh,
boobies a little hot?
that's a good question what I'm wearing. I'm wearing uh like this leotard that
Oh, let me
has
see.
like a angel and a devil on it, a couple of sexy
Oh,
boobies, and
you look like
then
a bad girl in that top.
and then I'm wearing like a for those days where you're too hot for a shirt, but your arms are so cold.
Yeah, I know
So
those days.
I'm wearing one of those they're just sleeves. They're only sleeves. And
Uh,
love them.
let's see. Gray
Yes.
says, I'm on my phone and I have to look later. Oh, never mind. People were discussing. Hey, Aubrey. Oh, thank you for
Yeah.
checking how I'm feeling. I'm feeling good. Just got some crystals in my ears
Okay.
or some
Um,
bubbles.
some bubbles in your ears. Are they almost gone? How is that
Mm-hmm.
going? Okay,
It's
good.
going well. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Ah,
Yeah, bubbles in the ears. It's so gross what our bodies do. Like
Courtney said
it's
she's had bubbles too.
ugh.
Yes. Okay, so Michelle called me out, and I would like to display. It's my show and tell tonight. I am drinking a non-alcoholic beer from a company called Athletic Brewing. They have a non-alcoholic IPA called Run Wild. It is delicious, and when I went to Whole Foods last, I'm loving that there are so many options right now for non-alcoholic beverages, like more
Yeah.
so than I've ever seen before.
Yeah. So what does it taste like beer?
Yeah, tastes just like a beer, except I don't feel like shit after I drink it.
Yeah, it is really interesting. I think I have because Dennis is sober, so I think I have some of his gin.
Oh, oh, non-alcoholic gin. Oh, I'm excited to try this. Michelle says I'm here for the NA beverages.
This is Monday, zero alcohol gin,
Cool.
and it's you can see how much we drink it because it's super dusty.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it comes in like this really awesome bottle. You don't feel like
Yeah.
you're drinking you're not slumming it. Like it's gorgeous to have sitting out. It comes in a bottle like gin would come in.
Yeah.
Um,
And
I don't
I
even
love
know.
it that there's this option now for people who are pregnant or people who are sober or people who want to feel like they have something that it's just like not a great day to imbibe for them.
Yep.
Um, yeah, does it taste like gin? Like real gin?
It's gin adjacent. Like it's you if you're someone who drinks straight gin,
Yeah.
that's probably not going to do it. But if you're looking to have it in there, like there's definitely it's going to hit the same spot for you. Um,
Cool.
yeah, you store it differently. Like this probably shouldn't. You have to drink it within 6 months.
Oh, okay.
Um, but yeah, it's good. Aubrey said, Bethany, I can't tell you how stressed I was listening to your cockroach story. It was awful.
Hmm.
Thank you for holding the space. Um,
Rose said too, she like needed to pause and no, it was Hannah. Hannah said she needed to pause for like and like take a breather listening to your story.
have you guys done that where you start out fine and
Mm,
then you completely psych yourself out to the point where you're like
hmm.
sobbing?
Yeah.
Like I've handled cockroaches before. I don't like it, but I've done it.
Hmm.
But I psyched myself out to the point where I was sobbing.
Once I was about to walk into like a haunted house. Why couldn't I think of that word? Like a Halloween haunted house and like
Yeah.
an event. And all I had been in haunted houses before. I had been in that haunted house before specifically, and I just started sobbing and having a panic attack that I couldn't go in. And Neil, who is like the most even-keeled person I know, like he doesn't have anxiety about basically anything. The only time he gets angry is when I want to do something one way and he wants it to do it another way, and I'm like,
Yeah.
too bad, my way or the
Yeah.
highway.
Yeah. You dig your
Um,
heels in.
and he like couldn't believe that I was sobbing because I didn't want to go into a haunted house, and I'm like, I can't control what my reaction is right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's crazy. It's so crazy So yeah, thank God that I was ready to make. I mean, I was sort of joking, saying like
Mm.
Dennis come from Brooklyn, but there was. I mean, I was real close. So thank God I have landlords who are right downstairs and handled it handled
Um,
it for me.
have you heard of the big news of the day?
Is it Rihanna news?
No, no, no,
Oh,
you know what? But there is a joke there. I keep thinking like maybe she should make a song like under my umbilical, illical
oh, I
cord.
see.
Hey,
Hmm.
hey. Okay,
I
that's
see
that
what you're saying. Okay,
terrible
so
joke.
not the Rihanna pregnancy news.
No. Wordle was sold to the New York Times for $1 million.
Good for them. Good for them. Wow.
I think if there's anybody who deserves that $1 million, it's that guy because we've
Yeah.
all been entertained for weeks playing Wordle now.
Yeah, and he wouldn't he made it for his girlfriend or his wife as a gift. So that's like
Something like
really
that.
sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's
Allison
see.
says, under my the Ellie. That's a good one.
Isabel said I went to the annual Universal Haunted Houses and absolutely freaked out. Yeah, I've never been to Universal Horror Nights, but apparently they're terrifying. But like, I want to go. Jasmine says they're great, so fun. I really want to go, but I've heard so many people say they couldn't handle them. Are
Mm.
they? Are they really like? Is it like traumatizing, or is it like people who like struggle with scary things don't like them?
Hmm.
Mike says I go every year. Lauren says it's amazing, but also some houses aren't.
Oh, all
I
right.
worked at the Busch Gardens one. Oh, I've always wanted to work at one. I went to Blood Manor last year. How was Blood Manor? I haven't been in a few years.
Yeah,
Zaid.
Zaida. Yeah, Blood Manor is the one that I broke down in front of and couldn't go in. That's the one I was crying in front of.
Zaida is. Do they still have the guy who has one eye going left and there's a fork in it? Because that guy, he and I became friends, and so because for the morning show we would go like 2 or 3 years in a row, and the guy the first year, I don't know, I liked him. I was just like, you're awesome. Your makeup is awesome. And the next year and the year after, when we saw each other, we gave each other big hugs. It's like he came out like all fucked up with his fork
Oh.
in his eye, and I gave him a big hug. He's like, yeah, we hugged each other, and it was wonderful.
There is something very addicting to the adrenaline that rush of adrenaline you get when you're walking through places like that. It's
Yeah. Yeah. You're always on edge. You're
hmm
always, yeah. And if you're not in the right headspace for that, man, that'll make you have a panic attack real fast.
Yeah, that shit will fuck you up. Hey, Christina, what's going on?
Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about tonight, I say one of them, I only planned one. So everyone better buckle up and have a good time with this.
Okay.
I my topic for this week is an urban legend. It's my favorite urban legend on the podcast this week. So I wanted to talk about other urban legends because I'm curious. They're so many times they're different based on what part of the country you grew up in,
Ooh.
and so I want to posit a couple of urban legends and see if you guys in the chat either heard them growing up, or if you did hear them, what version, like what was your version of that urban legend? Like Kathleen, do you remember, did,
Uh,
were you told any of these, like the Bloody Mary story or?
Bloody Mary is the first one that comes to mind,
Okay.
but there are a whole bunch of urban legends in this book called Weird New Jersey that we used to do all the time. Like there's a tower in this residential neighborhood, and if you drive backwards around it 3 times, the woman like appears in front of you. I used to go to that all the time. There's an exit off of Route 204 in New Jersey, North Jersey, where they say that the urban legend is if you're going the right exact speed, there's a ghost that lives at the exit and it'll lift your car up and you're flying for a little bit. I've definitely done
That's
that.
cool.
It's definitely physics, like the way that the
Yeah.
road is.
Yeah.
And there are a handful of others, murals that you're supposed to go see that are supposed to be like haunted murals and stuff like that.
Cool.
I love going to local weird oddities like that. Like, isn't there like a huge giant in Wisconsin where the Jolly Green Giant factory is, like the actual Jolly Green Giant?
You know what? I don't know. I know we have a giant statue of Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox. I don't know if we have a green giant.
And if you drive backwards around the Jelly Green Giant 3 times, like, do you never have to eat vegetables again for as
Yeah,
long
that's
as
how
you
that
live?
works. Okay, I want to scroll up for a second. Brienne said, "What about the clown statue?" Okay, Brienne, I want to know, what did you hear about the clown statue? This is what I want to know. I want to know like people's individual, because I have an urban legend about the clown statue too, but I want to know
Okay. All
what your
right.
story. Like, Kathleen, do you know about the clown statue?
No, I don't.
Okay,
And Brienne, I believe, is connecting right now to tell us about the
great.
clown statue. Uh, I'm looking up funny urban legends. And let's see.
And in the chat too, let us know if you heard about the clown statue story, and like either growing up or later, and what version of it you heard, because there's many different versions of the clown statue.
So there's an urban legend about the Hoover Dam. It's that there were many fatalities involved in the making of the Hoover Dam, and they workers slipped, and the concrete was just poured over their bodies.
Awful.
So there's human consciousness in the walls of.
Oh,
Oh God.
I think Brienne said accepted the request of Brienne in the chat. Madison, I never heard any of these.
Huh. Let's see.
Hi, Mama. Do you
Isabel
want to say
says, nor have I. Let me tell you. Oh, yes,
hi?
this is one of the big ones. Pools are going to turn red if you pee in them.
Oh, I always heard. See, I heard they were going to turn dark, like purple.
No, so yeah, it's like always like, oh, there's a special chemical in there. Don't pee in the pool.
Yeah. So you heard it was going to turn red. I heard it was going to turn purple.
Or don't throw rice at weddings because birds will explode if they eat it.
I thought that was true.
It's been debunked. Not true.
Oh, thank God.
Let's see. Uh,
Do we have Brienne? Where's Brienne?
I don't know, Brianne, what's happening? Oh, we've talked about this one on the podcast that we only use 10% of our brains. It's totally not true.
That's an urban legend.
Okay. I guess Brienne's having a tough time connecting or she doesn't want to join us. So you tell me your version of the clown urban legend.
So the clown, from what I've heard, is it's similar to the call was coming from inside the house urban legend.
Oh, yeah.
So this is the story I heard. There was a girl babysitting 2 kids, and the kids were up in their bedroom asleep.
Hmm.
And the girl was told by the parents before they left, "You can sleep in our bedroom. We're going to be home late. So if you get tired, lay down in our bed."
Yeah.
And the girl was like, "Fine." So the girl gets tired. She goes up into the parents' bedroom. She gets into bed, but she notices there's this clown statue standing in the room. And she's like, "That's creepy. I'm just going to put a sheet on it." So she puts a sheet over the clown statue so that she doesn't have to look at it and she can rest.
Yeah.
The parents call just to check in and see how everything is going. And she said, "Everything's fine. The kids are asleep. I hope you don't mind, but I put a sheet over that creepy clown statue in your bedroom." And the parent said, "Grab the kids, get out of the house immediately. We don't have a clown statue." So
Yeah, Bran says that's the version that she knows. Okay. Let me play devil's advocate here, and I know Taste by Caitlin has begged us not to advocate for the devil anymore, but if you were the parent, wouldn't you be like, what are you talking about? Instead of like, get out of the house?
I mean, probably, but I think for the purposes of telling the story, the back and forth of what are you talking about? Well, there's a clown in your room.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we'll get rid of that for like, yeah, but of course. Yeah, I think, yeah. I think it's that also, the first time I heard that, my blood ran cold. The idea of someone being in the house with you is just the worst thing I can think of.
I was at a party last night, a 40th birthday party. And so
Right.
it was like there were a lot of family members there of the person turning 40. So, me, I like to command the room, because it's just like practicing podcasting, when I'm like
Totally.
talking to people. It's like,
Yeah.
anyway, I was talking about how in North Jersey, I'm very plugged in to what is happening in my community, and my mom's community because I have like 10,000 Ring cameras, so I'm part of like the Ring community. Um,
Totally.
So in North Jersey, it's been a huge thing where cars are being stolen from suburban neighborhoods. It's like a huge, huge problem going on in New Jersey right now. And I was saying to some of the people in the room, specifically like the older people, the grandmas and the grandpas of the room, who doesn't lock their car? Like,
Yeah.
who doesn't lock their front door as soon as you, like, I would never just leave my car unlocked, even in my driveway.
Michelle, I
Um,
don't lock my car, says Michelle.
no, fuck that. And so, Bethany, I shit you not. All of these elderly people were like, I don't lock my car.
My
I'm
parents don't lock their car. Mm-mm.
like,
They always make fun of me because when I'm home visiting and I like borrow my mom's car, I lock it in the driveway. And she's like, "Oh, BB, no one's gonna, and who's gonna take?" I'm like, "Anyone's gonna take the car." Look, so many people in the chat don't lock their cars. Gray doesn't lock their car. Aubrey says, "I locked my car in my garage." That's my girl. Michelle, my door is unlocked right now.
no,
Michelle,
no, absolutely not. Okay. And then another grandma chimes in and she goes, it's so funny. Like, I don't know. Like, sometimes when I go to sleep at night, I think to myself, did I lock the door? And then I just go to sleep. I'm like, that's your front door.
I don't get it.
Mm-mm.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
I went to every single old person. Nobody locks their car. Nobody.
Uh, Gray, Gray, what's going on? Do you lock or do you not lock? Wait, because Gray lives on acreage. I live on a lot of acreage. I'm trying to scroll up. My car isn't locked. Okay, here's the thing, Gray. Like, you have so much acreage, anyone can hide.
Hmm.
And like, will it take the police longer to get to you because you're
You,
out in the middle of acreage?
yeah, you live in a rural area. I can't. All right, let's see. Christina says there was a big story in town when someone went up the street and stole the change from all the cars. My dad got hit and was pissed because they took the whole tray and he didn't care about the money. He just wanted the tray back. It's such a dad
Funny.
thing.
Great.
That's
That's what my dad is for. Got to pass his house before getting to mine. That's really funny. Lock things up.
I
Lock
would
stuff up.
I was driving away with my mom somewhere, and I am just Bethany, I trust nobody.
Yeah.
Everybody to me is a predator.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was driving away from my mom's house, and I'm like, "Mommy, did you lock the back door?" And she gave me one of these like, "Yeah." And I was like, "I'm turning this car around." Bethany, I turned it around. I parked the car, went into the house, and sure enough, the back freaking door wasn't locked.
So I I think it should be required viewing or listening to watch like just a few the worst things that have happened when people lost their phones or computers horror stories. I was listening to one just before we started tonight. There was a guy, what was it? No, it was a chick who lost her iPhone
Hmm.
and she didn't have Find My Phone on and she didn't have it locked. So they started getting texts saying like I know where you live, and also she kept her address and her garage door code in her phone
Oh,
under home. Okay, if you're going to do that, put it under someone's fake name.
yeah.
Put it up. Put it under pied a terre. Put it on something that's not home. So
Yeah.
anyway, so the guy friend is with her and he like takes her out for dinner to cheer her up, and when they get back to her house the lights in the house are on, and he's like, "Are your parents home?" She must have been in high school, and she was like, "Maybe they're home." So they go in, they're like, "Mom, Dad, are you home?" And they hear a door upstairs slowly click shut. The person had found her home, gotten inside because they had the door code. Like,
No. No. Yeah.
everything. And then another guy got his laptop stolen because he went to go get coffee at a little cafe and he left his laptop sitting out there. He left it open. He didn't have a code on it. Someone picked his laptop up and walked away. He logged in from his phone. All of his emails had been opened. The person started texting him nude photos of himself that they got from the computer.
Oh my God.
Had his address, had all of his bank information because that was all on his computer. If you have your passwords auto saved in your browser, they can get to all of your banking. Like, you have to be so careful. Put codes on everything, lock everything, take everything with you.
Courtney said her grandparents used to leave the keys in the car unlocked.
I mean,
Okay.
I briefly dated someone who did that too, and his theory was I would rather them just take the car instead of breaking the window and taking the car. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
Okay, there I did go on a hike once in Hawaii, where like people review the hikes and they're like, a lot of crackheads at the bottom of this one, a lot of meth heads. Leave your car unlocked so when you get back from this hike, because they like I guess the meth heads, the drug addicts, like looking for money to I don't know, whatever. That's what people are writing on it. Leave your car unlocked so they can rummage through and they don't break the window. But from your own driveway, you may
Yeah.
never see that car again, so why
Yeah.
bother leaving it unlocked?
Also, I'd rather hear the sound of breaking glass and like be alerted
Yeah.
rather than hear the sound of my car starting and being driven away and like having no opportunity to catch the person. Lauren
Audrey,
asked, "Is this why you hate technology in homes?" No, I hate technology in homes because your technology is eventually going to turn against you and have more power than we would ever want our technology to have.
Brienne says a lot of people in the Hamptons keep their keys in their Range Rovers. The problem is thieves know that the car is unlocked because of the rear view mirrors, so they drive away with the car. How do you know the car is unlocked? Because of the rear view mirrors.
Is, the, is
There
this a
must
Range
be something.
Rover thing?
Let's see. Dana says, I cannot tell you how many people report on my neighborhood Facebook page that their car's been burgled just because it was unlocked. Sigh. Yes. Like, is it really stealing a car if you drive away because someone left the fucking key fob? Excuse my French. The key fob in the car. Is that just borrowing or is that stealing?
I'm not saying they deserve it because they don't, but they can't be surprised.
Yeah.
Allison
Yeah.
said, a nightmare I have about it is that I would get in the car and then someone would be in the back seat waiting. Always check your back seat. That's another urban legend.
Yeah. Oh, that's
Is
right.
It
Yes.
actually started the movie Urban Legend started out with that urban legend where the chick is driving, she pulls up, she gets gas. The gas station attendant is like, "Hey, can you come in? Your card is declined. Can you come in to the building with me?" And she's like,
That's
"Fine." And he's like, "Your card is fine. There's someone in your back seat."
That's right. I forgot about that. What a great opening to a movie.
Yeah. It's Brad Dourif who plays the gas station attendant. He's like brilliant in everything he does.
Another urban legend, shaving your hair makes it grow back thicker. There's no scientific evidence of this.
That's interesting. So many of these
Yeah.
are like scary, but that's true. I've heard that as well.
Coca-Cola can dissolve teeth. Coca-Cola cannot dissolve your teeth.
Mhm. Michelle said, check your trunk to make sure no one is hiding with the back seat unlocked.
Oh, that's right. Yes. Or have you heard of the one that gum stays in your stomach for 7 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, it's not true, but theoretically, if you swallow it, it could stick to your throat. It doesn't stay in your digestive system for any longer than 7 days.
No. Have you who heard about you go on a date, you wake up in a bathtub, someone has like written a note that says, go to the ER, I've taken your kidney.
Oh,
Wake up
what?
in a bathtub of ice. You didn't
I've
hear this?
never, no, I've never heard of that.
Who's heard of this? The kidney. Gray has heard that.
Bethany,
Yeah.
what the actual fuck? Stolen organs?
So this is like one of those cautionary tales about having like loose morals and sex with strangers. The story that I heard is, let's see, Isabel haven't heard that. Rose, yep. Stolen organ, yep. Samantha's heard it. Tila heard it. So this is a story I heard. Let me know if you've heard something different. It's a guy.
Mm-hmm.
And Jess said they heard that it was from a frat party. Yeah. So it was like there's a party at a house.
Yeah.
And a guy I know, not the guy that I know, but a guy that my cousin knows, woke up after hooking up with this chick, woke up in the bathtub. It was filled with ice, and she had written on his chest in lipstick, "Go to the ER." Like, I took your kidney, or just go to the ER. He's sewn up, and then they find out that she took his kidney for the black market. Selling kidney.
Damn. Damn! Oh my
Yeah,
did you hear that there are people on organ transplant lists who refuse to get the vaccine and it automatically disqualifies them for the organ?
that's great because guess what?
Yep.
You don't want to waste that organ. Sorry, but
Yeah.
if you get sick,
And
sorry.
people are so stupid stubborn that they're like, "Fine, I just won't get the organ. I'm not getting the
Yeah,
vaccine."
okay. Tatiana said, sorry, Megan said, I heard that, but it was a guy that got a sex worker. Yeah, that's another version of it. Tatiana, I was terrified of La Llorona. Is that only a thing in Latin America? I've heard La Llorona, I've heard it's like Latin America and also like some southern United States, maybe. Kathleen, do you know the La Llorona story?
No, I don't.
It's that I don't know if Tatiana, if you want to talk about it.
Do you wanna come up, Tatiana? I'll invite you. Come up if you want.
Susan said that she's heard of it in Arizona.
Hmm.
La Llorona is scary.
Who just said, oh, Caitlin Knott said she heard on Rugrats that you can go down the shower drain. That's pretty good.
Rugrats. La Llorona made it to Puerto Rico too. Okay.
Let's see. Um, Jess, I also invited you up if someone wants to explain how do you say it? La Llorona?
La Llorona.
Llorona. That's right. The double L's is the your sound.
Well, I had a nightmare. I got sucked down the shower drain with a tarantula. Kill me.
Okay.
Kill me.
Uh, can we just pause for a second? Speaking of nightmares, Bethany, you know how you talked about exploding brain syndrome
Yeah.
on the
Mhm.
podcast, where it's like you're sleeping and you hear a loud noise? This was Saturday night. I am sleeping, dead asleep. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I hear, no, it was Friday night, sorry. Not that that makes a difference for the story, whatever. And I hear this. And I'm like looking around. Neil is still asleep. I'm like thinking, is there somebody at the front door? So I'm listening, but it wouldn't make sense if it came from the front door because it was like somebody was knocking the nightstand right next to me, clear as day. I heard it.
Is it so scary?
It was really bizarre. It was really weird.
Yeah. It's like this sound. It's like people will hear when they're in that liminal state between wakefulness and sleeping, people will hear like gunshots or a bang or a voice and it's in your head. It's exploding heads. It's like it sounds like it's right by your ear.
Clear as day, 2 knocks, bum bum, like someone was knocking on the door, and I live in a condo building, so I'm always like, "Oh, the place is on fire, and they're knocking on our door," you know?
Okay, so Jess is cooking in a sports bra.
Oh, okay, alright.
I'm gonna look up the story of La Llorona because I don't know it perfectly, and I don't want to be like I'm this white chick who knows this story and can speak to it. La Llorona.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, whoa.
Hey,
Brienne, finally you're connected.
Okay,
Brienne, I'm
I
gonna
can, you can, I don't know what happened, but yeah, you can
Okay.
knock me off.
Okay, thanks. Good to see you. Hey, Tatiana.
Sorry, I was getting out of the shower.
No
how was the shower?
problem.
Was it good? Do you have hot water?
Very hot. Great.
Good. Okay, do you know the story of La Llorona?
Yeah, so I think there's different versions of why this woman is angry, and I'm curious if any others have heard different reasons. But the one I heard is that this woman finds out her husband is cheating and she sees him. So she goes into a blind rage and she takes her children and she drowns her children. And then she kind of comes to and realizes what she did. So then she tries to drown herself, which I guess we can't do that, but she drowns herself. And then I guess she's stuck in purgatory because they're like, well, you can't get into heaven, whatever, you have to go find your children. So as her revenge, she's a ghost of a woman who roams the streets looking for children to take as her own, but she's gonna go drown them.
So
Pretty scary.
How would you be if you were a little kid out at night, would you see her in theory? Would you hear her? How would a little kid know La Llorona's around?
You would hear her crying. So I guess, I should have started there. Llorona means basically like a crybaby or
Oh.
the crier.
Okay.
So that's what like people will hear, and she's by water's edge, so she'll be by like a well or a pond or the ocean, whatever. And you just see her, and she's crying, and that's how she kind of lures people to her.
It's so crazy. And like, again, if you pull it apart, it's a message to keep your kids where you can see them, right? Like it keep your kids from going out at night, going by water where they could actually get in trouble. But it's like kids aren't going to listen to their parents, so we got to tell them this awful story about this.
No. It's like all this stuff when they're like, "Oh, we're going to send you away to the bed camp if you don't do this or whatever." Which is like, well, if that's your method, I don't judge you as a parent.
By the way, I've said this before when we've talked to you on the live show, Tatiana, but your apartment is fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I was about to apologize, Bethany. You know it's an accent wall.
No.
I have no issues with an accent wall.
Okay.
Kathleen's going to be the one who has like some thoughts.
It's not really an accent wall because there's a continuation. You see? It's like, it's not an accent wall because it doesn't stand alone, right?
It's beautiful.
I love it.
Is beautiful.
I wish I could show you the other part. I have framed, some from Guatemala. It's like framed fabrics from Guatemala that I just.
Oh, I love that.
Cool. Well, next time.
Highly recommend just hang stuff.
Yeah, next time we'll see you. Next time you have to have it ready to show us. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. Good to see you. Bye, Tatiana.
Dana, going back to exploding head syndrome.
Yeah.
Dana said, when I was still in my apartment, I woke up very startled to what I swear was someone screaming hello in my face. I will never forget that. It was terrifying. It's so weird.
Yep.
So weird.
So crazy. Okay. Aubrey's accusing me of having an accent ceiling. Well, not quite yet, but I am going to have an accent ceiling. Yeah.
Courtney said, we had water babies in Nevada. People on a boat would hear babies crying in the water, look over to save them, and then get dragged to the bottom of the lake. That's why you don't go out on water. It's either there or the mermaids.
Have you heard that witches can't drown? They only float.
Is that from the witch trials?
That I just read this book, and that was like part of it. It's about a family of witches, and like a big part of the story is that they can't drown.
Yeah, well, because it's a fiction, right? I'm guessing it's fiction.
Yeah,
because in the witch trials, they would say one of the tests for if a woman was a witch or not is they would put her out in the lake, and if she drowned, she wasn't a witch. And if she floated, she was a witch.
There you go.
So it was kind of a lose-lose. Like, you die, your name would be cleared, but if you lived, then you were murdered. Jess has their version. If we would just put on a shirt, if we wanted to.
Okay, Jess,
they're ready to go.
Let me invite you up. I just came across this other urban legend about alligators in the sewer system.
Yes, I heard that growing up too, that like New York had alligators in the sewer system.
Screw that, man.
Because it was like people would get allegedly would get baby alligators as pets, and then they would get too big, so they'd flush them down the toilet. So then all of these alligators were living in the sewer systems of New York.
Oh, that's how they came up with the story of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Probably.
Totally. Let me see. The clown statue. Yeah, we talked about that one. The vanishing hitchhiker. There's a legend of a vanishing hitchhiker. Stories typically describe someone stopping for a hitchhiker, and it's said that the hitchhiker vanishes whenever they get to where they need to go.
Yeah, and then it's like they go to the address, and the person's like, "Oh, that was my daughter. She died these 20 years ago. Tonight is the anniversary of her death."
Mi amor.
Oh.
Did you finish cutting this?
Hi, Jess.
Hi.
Hi, guys. Sorry, I was prepared to just watch today.
That's fine.
And then I heard this, and I was like, "Damn!" It's like my parents could have traumatized me so much more, and I guess they just chose not to.
I recognize that tank top.
Oh yeah, I found a shirt.
Ooh, nice shirt. What's your version? What's the version of La Llorona that you heard?
So it was only like, it was so much like less bad on her part.
Okay.
when I said it was like not as dark, it's still pretty dark, but like not in the she's a terrible person kind of way.
Sure. Yeah.
So the story is that it was this woman that lived in a village, and she was like super beautiful, and she was like rich, so she always wore white, which was like a thing a while ago. And basically, she was like she was of loose morals, and she had a bunch of children, and she was married, and he found out that she had been hosting other people.
Sure.
And so he went into a rage while she was out hosting and drowned all of her children. And then she came home and found out that they were all drowned, and then threw herself off a bridge when she found out. And so there's like this one bridge in Puerto Rico that my grandma, I could not tell you. I think it's in central Puerto Rico somewhere. God, do we have any other Puerto Ricans that can help me with this story? But there's like one specific one that's like really supposed to be haunted. You're not supposed to drive over it, stuff like that. But it was basically, I guess, a way of scaring my sister and I into not sleeping around.
Yeah, so that's interesting too. So that in that version, it's less about keeping kids out of like the woods and by water, and it's more about like don't sleep around, or your husband will kill you and your children, or you'll kill your kids.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh
and
gosh.
we have the same thing where she like scream cries, and that's what gets people to come out, and then she tries to like basically lure your children into the water with her because she just wants children back.
Oh gosh. How old were you when you first heard this story?
What's kindergarten? Like 5?
5.
Yeah.
Shit.
That's so crazy. I love this stuff. I love it. I hope it didn't traumatize you too badly, because I find so much in it.
I'm Catholic. There were other things.
Jess, what's for dinner tonight?
I have no idea. Hold on. Let's see. It's in the other tab. It is a sausage rice skillet, but we have to chop up 1,000,000 peppers. Like 1, 2,
Yeah.
3.
I hear that in the
3
background.
peppers. So it's taking a while.
It sounds like it will be delicious, though.
Yes, it should be.
I'm
Worth
glad
it.
that you have a sous chef.
Yes. Yes, Moonlight taught him well.
Yeah. It's good to see your face. Happy you made it through January.
Yeah.
All right, catch you later.
There's a babe over there? Show us this
hang
babe.
on. Let me see the babe. It's a man?
Babe.
Come here. Come here. Come say hi.
Hello. Say hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Hello.
I can hear anything.
My husband, yeah. You're in here, so he can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Tell your husband we're being very witty and very funny.
They're being very witty.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So funny.
I don't know what that means.
Tell him he should laugh right now.
He doesn't know what witty means, but I'll go teach him that lesson. I'll see you guys.
Thanks, Dad. Enjoy dinner.
Bye. See ya. Speaking of dinner.
Yeah.
Speaking of dinner. Okay. I've had my nutritionist appointment today.
Yes.
And we've been talking about ways to get more vegetables in.
Yeah.
And because left up to my own devices, I would eat cupcake icing and cereal and,
Wow.
So I made this beautiful, gorgeous, sort of like a skillet version of ratatouille, Bethany.
Okay.
I spent so long on it. I cut everything up. I'm going to show you a picture of it before I put it in the oven. It looked gorgeous. Can you see?
Wow. It's very beautiful.
Very fancy. Neil gets home and he's like, I'm not in the mood tonight.
So did you eat it and tell him to figure it out for himself?
Well, he's like, I have a leftover half of a sandwich. And so after this broadcast, I'm going to go eat it alone.
That's fine. That's fine. Because guess what? You put in the effort, so you get to eat the food. He can figure it out himself.
I'm going to be like one of those moms that's like, okay, this is what's for dinner. I'm not making shit. I'm not making anything else.
Of course be like one of those moms. What? You're not a restaurant. Like, unless you're, I don't know, unless your kid is like allergic to certain foods, you eat what you eat, you get what you get, and you don't get upset.
Yeah, Megan says that's how my mom was.
I'm sorry, this isn't a a la carte situation. You make the food and you get to decide what's going to be eaten, and then you eat it. And if he doesn't want it, he can eat something else, and he can figure it out himself.
I mean,
He's a grown-ass man.
it was so beautiful, Bethany. You would have thought that a rat was there to help me put it together. It was really
A rat with the voice of Patton Oswalt.
yeah, that's right. Oh
No,
man,
there are times because I really don't cook.
yeah.
I mean, I just hate it. And so, like, and Dennis has so many food restrictions. So we just prepare our own meals separately. Like,
I love that.
For both of us, but like, usually it's like, okay, well, it's mealtime. Are you hungry? Yeah, I'm hungry too. We'll each just figure out what we're going to eat, and then we figure it out.
We do that too. We call it picking. Like, let's just pick tonight, whatever is in there. Eat when you feel hungry, and we don't necessarily need to eat together.
Yeah. People are mad at Neil. Wait, someone said, what the fuck, Neil? Where was this? What the fuck, Neil, says Krista. That's beautiful food.
Thank you.
And you don't like the option, start cooking.
And then I put Parmesan cheese all over it, and imagine what it looks like now after it's been baking.
It's beautiful. Mike said, I made a pot roast today. That sounds effortful. Yeah, the dog ate a lot of vegetables when I was younger. Grown-ass man can find his own rat sous chef, says Jillian.
I know.
Yeah, a lot of people, if you don't like it, fend for yourself. Casey said, we grew up like that with my dad because my dad wasn't about to make 5 meals for all 5 kids. No.
So this other article popped up when we were talking about urban legends.
Yeah.
So stupid. Ranker.com. 32 celebrities who have insane phobias. You ready for this?
Just said that am I gone?
Oh, hang on.
Okay.
I see you.
Okay, good.
Apparently Christina Ricci is scared of indoor plants. She doesn't like indoor plants.
I mean, they are oddly unnatural.
Why? An indoor plant? That's not an unnatural thing. I mean, having pets inside is unnatural too, if you really want to get down to the crux of it.
Super weird, especially if you have cats. Cats were never really domesticated. They're little wild animals that live with us and have decided to let us live because we are where the food comes from. But like, cats are not, they can't really study cats because cats refuse to participate in studies.
That's true.
They're wild. They're super wild. Like, dogs we domesticated, cats not so much.
Megan Fox is afraid of paper. She has a fear of paper. On an episode of The Tonight Show, she told Jimmy Fallon that she hates and fears dry paper, and she confessed that when she reads scripts, she has to keep a cup of water by her side so she can dip her finger before touching the dry paper page.
So it's like a texture thing. That's interesting. That's
I
interesting.
Can see that.
I wondered if it was the sound of it, because sometimes for like if you have misophonia, the sound of paper can be really tough.
Oh yeah.
Awful. I was listening to a scripted podcast. This was years ago, and it was like this guy doing research, and so all of it was like the sound effects of him going through paper, and I had to stop listening because I was like, "This is awful." It was awful. I couldn't handle it.
Casey, if you want, please come up and tell us about your extreme fear of escalators. Oh my God. Oh, hey, Jennifer, what's up? Welcome to the live show. Good to see you.
Hi.
Casey.
Hello.
Good to see you again, 2 days in a row.
I know.
I was talking to Casey.
How was the pre-book club meeting?
Yeah, it was good. Casey had already been to the gym before we even had our 10 o'clock meeting.
I mean, I usually go at like 7:15 a.m.
On a Sunday. Come on. It's God's
Good.
day.
Good.
Your hair looks really good, everybody is saying in the chat.
Oh.
Okay, so what happens when you're at an escalator and there's no other way to get to the floor that you need to get to?
Well, I can usually find another way. Typically, places have to have an elevator.
Okay.
because of ADA requirements.
Mhm.
Okay.
We fact checked all the way back with like my parents. I have never once in my life gotten on an escalator.
Wait.
And what is it about? What is it about it that?
I don't know. Like, I don't like the moving sidewalks in the airport either. I refuse to get on those. Like, the idea of like the ground moving forward for me like freaks me out. My friends have tried to force me, and I just have a panic attack and walk the other way and find a new way to get to the place
Is
I
it
need to go.
is it the fear of like the act of getting on it? Is it like that? Like, how will I get on it and not fall over? Or is it like
Maybe.
this is?
I don't know. I guess I was afraid of him as a kid. My dad was also like a person who just convinced us of many things. So I could also see him me being afraid of him and him telling me that it was gonna like suck me in and eat me, and then just like instilling that fear even more. He never said that he would. He never said that he did that. But my dad spent a lot of time when we were kids. Like for when we were kids, like really little kids, he told us pizza was white bread with ketchup and American cheese on it.
You're a sucker.
My dad convinced us of many things when we were children that as we like got older and learned they weren't true, we were like, Dad.
I cannot believe you've never been on an escalator. Like
I've never. No, even when I came out east this summer, I found all the elevators and all the airports to get to the places I needed to go.
Brianna's asking, which is an interesting point. What if the escalator is broken, so it's just stairs?
I don't know. I've never come to that point.
What if the elevator is broken? And
well, then I guess I'm just not going up. I guess I'm just going to live where I am.
So do you have any desire to overcome this fear, or are you just like, nah, I'm good?
I've definitely tried. It definitely involves a lot of panicking and running away. So
wow.
Nikki wants to know if you're afraid of the Stairmaster at the gym.
I've never tried to use the Stairmaster at the gym. I fall off the treadmill, so the Stairmaster sounds like it'd be dangerous.
I feel like that might also be part of it. If you've fallen off a treadmill before, then there's this fear of
but that was like as an adult. I apparently would never even get on them as a kid. Apparently when I was a kid, if we got to an escalator, I'd sit on the floor until my grandma walked me to the elevator.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
That's amazing.
That's
so I think it's apparently been a lifelong fear of mine, and I just will not get on an escalator.
All right.
I mean,
well,
I hope for your sake that you're able to overcome it.
I mean, you guys, I mean, luckily I live in like Wisconsin where we don't have a lot of big tall buildings that you need to like adventuring up.
Yeah. I'm glad you don't live in New York City where sometimes when you have to get down to the subway, it's a 2-mile walk down the stairs.
Yep.
Oh, well, thanks, Casey. It was good to see you again. Bye. Oh my God. I don't have any fears like that. I don't
no, I mean, mine is like, I have bugs, but I don't think, I don't have any.
If it came down to like saving your own life to kill that bug, you would be able to do it.
Yeah.
Elliot Page, they fear tennis balls. They said, I couldn't tell you what it is. Tennis comes on and I have to leave the room. It's intense. They hate tennis balls.
I wonder if it's either the sound or they know the feeling. It's a weird texture.
It is, and the sound is like a weird hollow sound too.
Yep, that's tough. Speaking of your book club, we need to talk about Patreon.
Oh yes, we do need to talk about Patreon. Do you wanna be the I'll do the drum roll, Bethany, and you'll
Sure. We have new Patreon levels coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided that we want to be adding a couple of tiers to Patreon. So this is the first we're talking about it because you are our top patrons. So we are going to end up having 4 levels total. And we're going to put this on the website. We're going to be blasting this everywhere, but we wanted to tell you first. So you'll have lots of reminders of what this will look like, and don't worry. But here's what is going to happen. Instead of having a $2 level for just like huge donation, we're changing that to a $1 level. So it's just $1. You don't get anything. It's just a donation.
Mhm.
The level that you are all at, the $5 level, is staying the same. So you get your live shows, you get those twice a month, $5 a month. What is changing is that we're adding 2 levels above that. So there's going to be a $10 level where you get the 2 live shows every month, plus you get Kathleen's book club, which is is it a monthly?
It's a monthly book club.
And you get all of that
Facebook page.
and a Facebook page. Yep.
Yeah.
And I know, Kathleen, you said you're gonna like have people up, like one person
Yeah.
each time.
There's every time we do book club, Taste Bud will be invited to be my co-host, so people can get really, into books that they like and share their love of that book with other people. And also, you'll get a free tote bag, if you are invited to be my co-host.
Yes. So that's the $10 level. And then the level above that is $12. And you get the 2 live shows a month. You get Kathleen's book club plus the Facebook page. You also get an extra podcast every month that is called The Check-In. And it is the podcast with Dennis and me that we are releasing every month, where we talk about outstanding disagreements we have not yet solved. We talk them through. We talk about movies we've watched together. We talk about stuff in our relationship, or, just kind of what's going on. And they're usually about an hour. We recorded the first one, and we're going to release a sample of it on the main feed so you guys can get a taste of what that is. But those are the new levels. So we are going to launch this, I think, this week.
Yeah, we are. Mm-hmm.
But you will all have at least a month to sort of decide what you want to do. And I think so far, you all at the $5 level, if you just want to stay at the $5 level, I don't think you have to do anything.
Yeah.
But you can like jump up to a next level, or you can go down to the $1 level, whatever. But those are the new things. So it's going to be really fun. We're really excited. And yeah.
That is super exciting, Bethany. I can't wait to hear you and Dennis like basically go back and forth and maybe murder each other on audio.
Yeah, we already solved 2 disagreements on this first episode. Yeah, they're fun. We have a good time and it's exciting.
Jennifer says that she votes Jasmine to be the co-host of one of the book clubs for sure. Jasmine is the person that she's like my book aficionado of the Taste Buds. We are always swapping books that we're reading, and I would love to have Jasmine as a co-host. That would be really cool.
Awesome. Okay, Jess has a question about the Facebook club, and I know that the Facebook club. I know that we were talking about this today, Kathleen.
Yeah. So Jess, the existing Facebook page for Taste Buds who like books, that is going to stay the same, and then there's going to be a separate Patreon Facebook page for everybody who subscribes to the book club that way.
Yeah. So if you're in like the existing Facebook book club, that's great. You don't have access to the book club episodes, like meetings. That's a completely different animal, but yes, you can still stay there.
Lauren says, I love following your stories about each other. So a whole podcast is going to be amazing. Yeah, I love it when Dennis chimes in. Like when Bethany, when you were telling the Roach story, and Dennis, you're like, I wasted everybody's time, and Dennis was like, yeah, me too. You wasted my time. It's so funny when he chimes in. I love it so much.
It's really fun. We recorded an hour. I can show you the artwork if you want to see what the artwork looks like. Wait.
Oh, very cool. Let me see. By the way, before Joe said that he has a crippling fear of fire alarms and loud sounds going off from grade school, and it's still a little bit a part of him.
This is I don't know if you can see it, but this is the artwork. Maybe I'll pull it back a little bit. You can't see it. It's
hard.
fine.
Yeah, it's hard.
Maybe I'll lower the contrast. Just nope, that's not right.
That's
Can you
not-
see? No, it's too hard. Anyway. So yeah, so there's that. Great. I don't have time for book club. I'm starting grad school for my EDS, education seniority.
Oh, well, good.
So I'm going to be a doctor. What does ED-S stand for? Education.
Education Society. That's it, Bethany.
Remember Secret Education Society, and you have to study for it?
Oh, education specialist. Greg, congratulations. You're smarter than the rest of us.
Society. Amazing. One per month, Allison. So the new Dennis Bethany, one per month. If we're starting it slow for that reason, because we want to make sure it's something we can maintain. So right now, because you pay once a month. So like once a month is what we do right now. If we have time, we'll release extra ones. But we wanted to make it like realistic for ourselves right now. Educational specialist, secret society.
Oh, Isabel, the $12 tier, you get everything plus Bethany's podcast. That's the only level that you get the extra podcast on.
Yeah. So $12, you get the extra, you get the Bethany Dennis podcast, plus book club, plus live shows, plus the book club extra Facebook group. You get everything.
Oprah Winfrey has a fear of gum. That's a real thing.
You know what? That one makes sense though, because gum is real weird. Like I can't do it. She gags because it's like it's just this thing that sits in your mouth.
Yeah. I have to take only half a piece of gum because I feel like a whole piece of gum is too large in my small mouth.
Too big for your little mouth.
When the doctor was diagnosing my ear bubbles last week, she goes, "Have you had your tonsils out?" I'm like, "No, I've never had them out." She goes, "You have very small tonsils." I was like, "Well, if only I could have small other things on my body."
You do have tiny, like you're tiny. Like your mouth is, you have small ears, you have nice, like petite little hands. You're very small.
A very small mouth.
Like I can fit you.
Look how small my mouth can get.
Small. Your mouth gets so.
Carol says,
Stephanie wants to know if you've chosen the book for the book club yet.
I have, but I'm not going to announce it until tomorrow. But it's a good one, and I wanted to make sure that both audiobooks and like actual paper copies and digital copies were available for everything we choose. So no matter which way you consume a book, because I like audiobooks, anybody can listen or read or get it from the library.
Cool. Am I gone? Did people lose me?
Just video, not audio. Now it's audio. Bethany, okay. A lot of people still see you, so it might be people who have a connection. Zara says that you should add a cat's corner with your pets. Interesting. Mm-hmm.
Tila asks, when is the first book club discussion? So are you going to list dates?
Yeah,
going to
list dates just like we do for these live shows. So you'll have a whole month in advance to read the book. And then in the Facebook page, just for the Patreon book club, we can check in with each other all month and just swap other books that we're reading too. And we're going to do some interviews. We're going to have authors on for the book club to talk to them about the books. We didn't officially ask her yet, but I'm sure Bethany's sister Nicole will come on and talk about her book.
Absolutely.
And we're going to read a whole genre of different things. And I was talking about in the very loosey-goosey book club meeting on Crowdcast that I had yesterday. There will be memoirs, there'll be some fiction, some nonfiction. It's going to be sort of like a mix of everything. We're going to highlight authors from, all different types of communities and backgrounds and marginalized groups in the LGBTQ community. And some of my favorite books picked at book club are ones that I never would have picked out of, like my own volition. Especially like I love books with Jewish stories, Jewish backgrounds and Jewish cultures because it's a culture that I love. And I didn't get into it until my friend Lauren, who's Jewish, picked this amazing book by this Jewish author about like old school New York. And it was just like, I fell in love with reading books from other cultures after that.
That's awesome. I'm so excited. This is going to be really fun. You guys are going to have a good time.
Bethany, you'll have to read one of the books one of these months.
Yeah, I'll read one of the books one of these months. Is there a murder in it? Samantha's asking, when will the new tiers appear? So I think we're going to post them this week. And you'll have ample time to make your decision. So if you want to stay where you're at, that's fine. If you want to tier up, I don't think we're going to. Really, the only level that's going to have to be eliminated ultimately is the people who are just donating $2 if they decide not to donate $1, right? So like you're not going to get kicked off anything.
No, yeah.
But you'll have about a month to make your decision and level up or wherever.
Yeah. So I'm super excited. Let's see. Tila, somebody asked about voting for the books. Yes. I'm going to pick the February book just because it's the first one. And then after that, people can write in their suggestions or, a book that you would like to see read within the group, and we'll do voting and stuff like that. So very cool.
Fun. Will the book club day or date be the same each month? That's a good question.
No, it'll change because people have different availabilities. Like, you're not always available on the 15th of every month, but I don't know, like you tell us if you want it to be the same day every month, like the third Thursday or the second Friday or something like that. Let me know, and I'm happy to make it the same day every month. Like that would be cool. Oh no, Bethany, you're gone. Okay. Carol, yeah, I lost Bethany too. I'm going to re-invite her up. So I know we have a lot of avid readers in the Tastebud community. So Joe said, I didn't see is Carrie Kay here. Books are her jam, and she would probably love this. I haven't seen Carrie tonight, Joe, but I'll make sure to keep an eye out for her. Bethany said she thought that you were just getting really slow.
I was like, whoa. Is the video from yesterday's book club meeting available, Kathleen?
Yes, I will download it and post it again in Patreon so everybody can see it. But it was really funny. I didn't brush my hair. I got up on a Sunday morning with my coffee and I was like, let's talk about books.
So we'll put that at the $5 level then. Or do you want to put that for everyone so people can kind of get a taste of what's going on?
Oh, it'll be for everyone. Yeah, for whatever, if you want to watch the book club meeting. Yeah, and Samantha says, I can definitely use Google Forms to get everyone's votes. Yeah, this is like a learning experience, and I'm so excited because books are like one of my favorite things. I have a goal to read 100 books this year.
How many have you done so far?
I've probably done about, I'm a little bit behind. I'm supposed to do like 10 a month or something, or 11. No, like 8 a month or something. I've only read 5 this month.
I mean, 5 is a lot. That's a lot of books.
Well, I mean, I listen to them too, so it's a little bit different. But I just finished one today, which was really good.
What books did you just finish?
I'll tell you. I listened to it on Audible, and it was called The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. This is the cover. Can you see it?
Yeah.
It was great. It was about a family of witches from the author of Practical Magic.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Did they dance around a table to a song about coconuts?
There's a lot of we have a curse. We can't fall in love.
Yeah. I thought I had that curse for a really, really long time. It's a serious-esque thing, right?
Oh, I don't know.
I
I
think so.
just picked this one up and read that one. But if it's a series, the characters are really good. They are. I like. That's where I learned that witches can't drown.
Casey, I just reread a true crime book for my hometown in Wisconsin. What book is that, and what is your hometown?
Oh, cool. Have you ever read a horror book, Bethany?
Yeah, which one?
I no, no. I'm just like I've never read a book that's a horror book, like the horror literary genre.
Yeah. Oh, you totally should. There's really good ones.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, let's see. Gothic horror is sort of my favorite. So you have your like that's your like Mary Shelley Frankenstein. That's
Hmm.
you get a lot of like vampires, but it's also a lot of like even Wuthering Heights isn't Gothic horror, but it's that sort of vibe of like everything's kind of windy and chilly,
Yeah.
dark, like big houses, but dark and cold. And like I love Gothic horror. It's really fun. There was one. Wait, let me go get it. Hold on. I know it's about children, which is why I don't remember what it is.
Can you still hear me from the living room?
Yeah.
Do you know that they're making Agatha Christie's Death on the Nile into a movie? It comes out on February 11th.
Yes, it stars Wonder Woman.
Oh, oh, how cool. I saw that because I was looking up books that are being turned into movies this year, which is another, I love reading books that then I get to watch the movie, and vice versa. And I thought it made me think of you.
I can't find it. The Turn of the Screw, I think, also counts as Gothic horror. I might be wrong about that. The one the with one shot from Oregon, Wisconsin. Oh, I haven't heard of that.
Oh,
Does Fear Street count as horror? Absolutely. I would count that as horror. That's like gateway horror for kids. I definitely read Fear Street.
Samantha says that she's never read Wuthering Heights, and it's been on
Love it.
their list to read forever. You know what? I don't think I have either. I've seen the movie, like several adaptations of the movie.
I love it. It's the trope of like.
Sorry, my watch was talking to me for no reason.
Siri? Wuthering Heights is where you get that trope of like the brooding, wounded male who is like, he just can't love because he loves so much that he can't. And I freaking love that trope. I love like just the broody guy who just has so many big brooding feelings. Like Bridgerton is the same thing. It's like the Duke is like, I can't love. You see it, once you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
And so Wuthering Heights is friggin' great.
Speaking of Bridgerton, when does the next season come out?
I don't know.
Bridgerton. I keep seeing articles about it, so it must be coming out pretty soon.
Kathleen, what was the name of that book you were talking about? Penny is asking.
Oh, it was by I'll tell you in a second, and I'll post it too. It's The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. The Rules of Magic by Alice Hoffman. It was good. It was excellent.
Allison said, I love Wuthering Heights, but sometimes it's hard to keep track of who's who because like 5 characters have the same name. Yeah, everyone is named Catherine. Good luck, because you're going through a couple of generations of Catherines.
In Dawson's Creek, the first season, when Pacey like infamously has an affair with his teacher, she refers to Bethany. Stop it! You know what I'm talking about. The teacher refers to herself as Catherine and to Pacey as Heathcliff. Right? Is that Wuthering Heights? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Heathcliff is like, he's real brooding and wounded. I freaking love it. I just love it. I love that trope so much. Because it's like it's not about trying to fix him. We're always being taught to fix him, ladies, you gotta fix him. But it's more just about like it's like, get over yourself, dude. Like we all know you're fine, but you still kind of want to have sex with him, even though he's being like a real big dramatic baby.
Like Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
That's Kathleen. That's another one. It's the same version of that trope. You'll see it everywhere. It's my friggin' favorite.
There's just something so attractive about somebody who wants nothing to do with you. Right?
Yeah, you want what
like,
you can't have.
You want what you can't have. Like I would love curly hair. And I can't have curly hair, Bethany. I made my 3-year-old niece cry yesterday. She has the most beautiful curls. I said, You better wear a hat to bed tonight because I'm going to sneak into your room and cut off your hair and make a wig with it and put it on my head." And she started crying, insufferably crying. And all the adults were like, "What did you do to that child?" And I was like, "Nothing. I did nothing. I didn't tell her I was going to cut her hair off when she was sleeping and put it on my own head. I didn't say that at all."
That's so funny. Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Carol says, "Every time my daughter sees you guys, she sings Lock Your Doors from a previous show." Oh, that's so funny.
I do want to say also, I haven't read Wuthering Heights in a really long time, so it's entirely possible that Heathcliff is like a despicable human person. But I just remember loving him, and so if he ends up being like this awful racist, anti-Semitic, vitriolic, woman-hating asshole in the book, I disregard everything I just said.
Ooh, I love that word, vitriolic. Yes, Bethany, get it, girl.
I'm trying to see the girl, the mad scientist. So she's this dumb, muscle, wise woman. Yeah, he's like that. He's not an anti-hero though. I don't know.
Has anybody seen on Netflix The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window, starring Kristen Bell? Because I keep hearing really good things about it, and I have not sat down to watch that one yet.
I saw that it was an option.
Isabel says, "Saw it, but didn't watch it." Lauren says, "I need to watch that." BuzzFeed was saying that it's like one of the funniest shows that they've seen in a while. Oh, Tick Tick Boom! I have not seen Tick Tick Boom yet, and I need to.
Tick Tick Boom. My sister watched. Isabel said my sister started. I watched Tick Tick Boom. My sister watched Tick Tick Boom and went on the funny. So my younger sister does not love like real earnest musicals. The way like the Dennis doesn't love earnest musicals. And so my sister's husband was watching Tick Tick Boom, and she was also in the room, and her performance of the movie Tick Tick Boom, I think, is maybe even more entertaining than the movie Tick Tick Boom, because it's just her being like, "I'm this guy and I don't think I'm going to be successful, but here I am, super successful, but I have all these feelings." And it's very entertaining. So watch it. Let me know if you like it.
Joe says that they have multiple friends in it. Joe, that's because you're a famous musician, Joe. So thanks for rubbing that in our faces. Hey, Joe. You know what Joe is really good at? Watching Sex and the City and calling out the places that they're filming that doesn't make any sense for the storyline. Like,
oh, fun.
Like Miranda going to a bar before going to her grad school class, and the bar is like on the other side of town. Her grad school class is at Columbia. Joe is really good at that.
Yeah, that's awesome. When they film in New York, and there was one, God, I wish I could remember what it was. It was a movie where there were two characters having a conversation in the subway. And when they shot one character, they were like waiting for the 6. And when they shot the other character, who was literally just in the same subway facing the other way, it's a shot reverse shot, they were in a completely different subway station.
Oh
like
my
this
God.
shot said like Washington Square, and this shot said like Bushwick. Like they're nowhere near each other. It's not the same train line, but they just, for some reason, they just had to do it that way. I don't know why.
You know what drives me crazy? And I don't know why people in charge of movie continuity, they don't pay more attention to this. When one thing in the show or movie is happening that's supposed to be happening simultaneously as this other thing, but one shot it's daytime and the other shot happening at the exact same time as nighttime, and then they go between, and like all of a sudden maybe it's daytime in the second scene. It's like, why aren't people paying more attention to the time of day? Is like a continuity issue.
It's possible that it wasn't supposed to be like that. Like when they filmed it, it was supposed to be separate scenes, and then it was an editing decision.
Oh,
so then it's like, well, what can you do?
Yes.
But yeah, no, you're right. Like I remember Sharknado, there's the same scene and it's like different times of day in this like line to line the time of day, but like they also had like no budget. So
Drives me crazy. Tatiana said that's my pet peeve with DC shows. They always show people casually walking on the National Mall, usually in heels. It's not realistic. It's so far and huge, and the metro is far. Yeah, far with, is that 2 hours or three? That's far.
3 hours. Far. It's far.
I just was reading this, Bethany, on that article about celebrities who have weird phobias. Billy Bob Thornton is afraid of antique furniture.
Who else is? I've also heard of that. Does he say why?
Billy Bob Thornton gets freaked out around antique furniture, not just any antique furniture, but French antique furniture. Thornton has claimed that the furniture in the era of Louis the, oh man, what's XIV? That's 14th, freaks him out and suggests that maybe he was beaten to death by an antique in a previous life.
I love it. I love weird people. They're the best. I love it. I know that there's a couple of people I follow on social media who hate antique furniture because they're afraid it's haunted.
Oh, yeah,
So,
I get it. I get it. That's better than like fearing that you were beaten to death by a piece of antique furniture in a previous life. Get out of
sometimes
here.
you were beaten to death by a piece of antique furniture in a previous life, you know? You do.
Oh
It's not
my
your fault.
goodness. Let's see what else is going on in this
It's
chat
also
room right
funny-
now.
It's also funny when people are super inappropriately dressed for where they are. Like if you see
Yes.
someone, like if you see people, characters who are, for example, in Tribeca,
Mhm.
and they're like going out to the club or in the meatpacking district, and they're going to the club and they're all wearing super high heels. It's
Mhm.
like, no, you're gonna break your ankle because it's all cobblestone streets.
Yes.
So like they're showing them walking maybe on a sidewalk out of a building and they're all in stilettos, but those close-ups, you know, they're not wearing those because I have a friend who broke her ankle walking in stilettos in Tribeca. She's just like,
I mean,
because it's
I have a
in London.
Yeah, I have a pair of Christian Louboutins once I was wearing in Tribeca, and I fell out of my shoes. I literally, they're so high, and the
They're
streets are so wobbly. Speaking of
uneven, yeah.
Tribeca, did you hear that a crazy Taylor Swift fan drove his car into the front of her building just to get into her building?
Yeah, I did hear that. It's not worth it being Taylor Swift. It's not worth it.
And I was thinking, what celebrity would I drive into their building to see if I could meet them? I'm like,
Ooh, that's a good question.
yeah.
Who would you?
Yeah, Joshua Jackson or I love Chris Hayes from MSNBC from the 8 o'clock spot. He's my favorite.
Again, he looks just like your husband. You have a type. You have a type.
I had a dream that I was meeting him, and I was like, in my dream, I was like a little girl. Like I was talking to somebody. I'm like, oh my God, is that Chris Hayes? Like, is that Chris Hayes from MSNBC from the 8 o'clock spot? I was freaking out, and then I went and I talked to him, and his wife was there too, who of course is like a brilliant, gorgeous law professor in New York City, and she's also a spokesperson. She's like a talking head on ABC or something like that, and she's a political correspondent for, I mean, it's just, of course.
But you know what, Kathleen, no marriage is perfect. You may still have a chance. Just saying. Alexandra said, I went to goth night at a bar this weekend and now I want to change my wardrobe and get harnesses. Fuck yeah.
Do
yeah,
it.
you do.
Yeah.
Alexandra? Yes,
Oh,
you do.
You know who has a good cheap harness? I saw one on Forever 21 the other day. Check it out.
Etsy also has great harnesses. People be making harnesses. Whatever you want, you can get.
Hey, Alexandra, what's going on, San Diego friend?
I'm trying to think of who I would drive into their building in order to meet them. Because it has to be like, you have to not care what impression you make, right?
Yeah.
So it can't be someone that I want a relationship with moving forward. So I'm not going to drive into Nicolas Cage's building, for example, because I do want to work with him on National Treasure 3. More books, more secrets. But
Yeah.
like, I think I would drive into David Copperfield's home more
Oh,
because I'm
okay.
just sort of curious what he wears at home when he's just hanging out.
Mm, mm.
And like, what would like? I feel like if I drove into his home, would doves fly out? Like, what's going to come out instead of dust? You know?
Like, does he have a panic room, or can he just make himself disappear?
And
Mhm.
he throws down one of those flash bombs of like light paper and like
Yeah.
dissipates. He got this was years ago, but he was walking with two women,
Yes.
like two assistants, and they got mugged, and he made his wallet disappear, and so he didn't get mugged. And I would have been pissed if I was one of the women. I was like, could you have made my purse disappear, motherfucker?
You know, I sat next to him at the after party of Now You See Me, you know,
I'll
and there
never forgive you.
he had two women. There were two women crawling all over that guy.
Never forgive you for going without me. We didn't know each other yet, but like,
No, I know. I'm so sorry. Wait, hang on. Rose, wait, Brienne. What are people freaking out about in the
I
chat
don't know,
group?
something's happening. Something's
Uh,
happening.
Listen, gentle listeners or gentle patrons, write in the chat group who you would drive into the house of to meet them. What celebrity?
Courtney's making me laugh. Courtney, an angry David Copperfield is probably what would come out. That's really funny. That made me laugh. So I just typed
Touche.
your name.
Touche.
Wait, what's happening? What was Rose talking about? Rose, what's going on? Rose, fill us in. What's happening?
All right, I'm pulling up some ukulele chords. You know what that means. You know what time it is.
For a song?
It's time for a song. Gotta pull this out in a different tab. I have so many tabs open. Like, I think that's just how my life is going to be now moving forward. So many
Wait,
tabs open.
Brienne is distantly related to the Brothers Grimm. We have a dining room set from the early 1900s from the Grimm family, though the Brothers Grimm were long gone. Brienne. I'm related to Brienne.
That's really strange.
How much do you want for your dining set?
But okay, am I so stupid? I don't know who Brothers Grimm is.
The fairy tale guys.
Oh, Grimm's
Fairy Tale.
Oh, okay.
Joe said, I would say Elton John, but I don't want to be an international news story. I mean, but that's part of it, right? So it would have to be worth it for you, whatever you would get out of driving into their house, to be an international news story, Joe. So
okay.
It's up to you.
We're gonna take that car and drive it through the front door. Joshua Jackson, I'm coming for you. All right. David Copperfield. Oh man, I tuned this thing before. All right. Okay. David Copperfield, I'm coming for you to aid my friend Bethany in breaking into your home. And we're driving our car right through the front door, and it's gonna go boom, like boom, boom, boom.
Mention the doves that'll fly out.
Okay. And doves will fly out of your house, 'cause you are made of magic. And the doves are white, but then they turn red when they get bloody. 'Cause the doves might go bye-bye when the car hits them. When the car hits them, Bethany, Bethany, do you want to take over? And
okay, my turn.
When the car hits them.
But it's give me a note. Just wait. What am I starting on?
Okay. I'll give you a different note. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna give you this note.
So it turns out that the Doves are just fine. They got hit by your love, not a car or a vine. They just got hit by your love.
Hit
by
by
your
your love.
not your
Hit-
car.
No, they were hit by your
By
love.
your love. Everybody. Hit by your love.
Hit by your love.
Love. They got
Not
hit.
your car. Not your car. Good night, everybody.
Oh, must.
Saved by Your Love is our first single. Yes, it is. Good night, everybody.